welcome to another interview. Welcome to another one-on-one. I am your host, MNG, and today I have Tamika Carlton on the line with me. What's going on, Tamika?
What's up? Happy to be here.
And welcome. We glad to have you on the show. Now, we're here to talk about time is currency and quality relationships and how you spend it. Now,
Yes.
I'm going to be honest. I don't like to waste my time. I
Thank
don't
you.
want to waste my energy with
Facts.
somebody that is not going to be for me. The
Facts.
same goals, the same habits, the same ambition. If it's not there, we're not on the same path.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think we even looking in the same direction. I'm trying to be parallel. They perpendicular. I'm trying to find my way. But I'm not trying to take the limelight. Tamika, please tell the farewell fans a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I'm Tamika. I'm originally from Seattle. I am a lover of life, a lover of all things relationships, both romantic and platonic. And I'm also the CEO and founder of Couples Experience, which is an inclusive relationship company.
Okay.
So we host like relationship retreats, we do relationship events, all of the things. But ultimately, I'm really, really just like you. Like, I don't have time to waste my time. And more than anything, I've witnessed so many people wasting their time with relationships. And I'm like, we got to do better. And we have to figure out how to do better. So that's why I created Couples Experience. And I'm so passionate about relationships.
So let's talk a little bit about your company. So tell me a little bit more about it. So when did you start this company and what led you to starting it?
Yeah, so my husband and I started in 2018. And as I mentioned, it's an inclusive relationship company. What led us to start it was really this understanding. First of all, me and my husband we were dating at the time, and we were having like, it was a great momentum, like all things are good as things are when you first get together. But eventually things start revving up as far as like frustrations as they come, right?
Right.
Frustrations, irritations, all of the things in which you figure out, okay, you have to work through things, right? And like the honeymoon phase, people talk about the honeymoon phase. The honeymoon phase really don't last that long. It's like ongoing if you want it to be, but the truth of a real relationship is going to come out, especially if it's a quality relationship, because a quality relationship will force you to face things that you need to face in your life, right?
Okay.
And heal through things, all of that.
Right.
So what we realized was that no one was really having real transparent conversations about relationships. Like even our friends, they weren't sharing like, we're struggling a little bit. Times are tough here and there. Like everyone wants to put on this face and this front that like things are always great. And the fact of the matter is it's not. And it shouldn't be all the time, right?
Right.
So we created a space in which we wanted to open up the conversation where people could share good, bad, or indifferent, all of the things about their relationship. And that's what we do on our retreats. That's what we do on our events. And it's opened up an opportunity for people to be truthful and recognize that it's okay and you can still have a positive relationship even though you have things that you may not always agree on.
Okay. So thinking about that, because you had said something and you talked about the honeymoon phase, and that got me thinking about that 30, 90-day representative that everybody's talking about. You have a representative out. I'm like, I got a smart mouth regardless of the representative. Like, it just ain't, it's smart when that first 90 days. It's still smart. It's just not first in the first 90 days.
Yes.
You catch me after 120 days and my mouth a little bit smarter. I ain't get used to it now.
Wait a minute, not after the 120 days. Your mouth will be, yes, okay. I mean, that's real though. Like most people do present the representative. Why wouldn't you, right? Why wouldn't you want to come to the relationship with like all the good? But eventually the real deal is going to come out. And it's like, how do you figure out how to work through those things? Arguments are not going to work unless you're arguing to resolve, right? Versus arguing to just be right.
Okay.
That's That's not going to help anybody. So I think that for us, we were in this great space and we were enjoying ourselves. We were living our best lives. And yet and still, at times, we were getting irritated with each other. Okay.
It happens.
Right. Right. And it's like, but again, people don't talk about how to deal with those things often, especially in friend groups most times. Or you talk to your friends and they're like, girl, get over it, or he's tripping. It's not like, how do we solve the issue? How do we solve and get to the other side? And that is what we created and made sure that we get to a place where we can solve and resolve.
Okay, that's good. Trying to solve and resolve issues. Now, just for, the fans and everybody out there, does this come with like online classes, or is it just all in person?
Yeah, we have online resources for sure, like master classes in relationships. And keep in mind, this is both romantic and platonic relationships. So it could be for a friendship, it could be for your lover, it could be for all of the things. So we do have master classes, we do have ebooks, we do have the in-person events, which are my favorite because being in person, you can't deny that, right? Like it gives you a whole different vibe. So
yeah, you're absolutely right. Now I may have to look into some of these classes.
yeah. Wait a minute. We gonna put you on the fast track, okay?
Because like I said, my mom was smart them first 90 days, but after 120, they be looking like, you got a smart comment for everything. I'm looking like, well, you could say it's comedic or you could say it's smart mouth. Take your pick.
Wait a minute, not comedic or smart mouth. I could not. I mean, listen, you're gonna have to find somebody that's willing to deal with that, okay?
You know what? That's a path. That's a winding path right there. Hence farewell, Mr. Nice Guy.
Very good point. Is that where that comes from?
The story behind that is very interesting. I have been, the nice guy for so long, and eventually it was like, does that person get the recognition that they deserve? Do they get it up front or do they get it later on? And
listen,
I'll be honest, I'm edging over the hill, come next year. So
wait a minute. Not over the hill. Are you really? No, you're not.
I'm edging over the hill next year. And
you're over it.
And I'm a little bit over it. I recently did just a show that just talked about what we want in our 20s versus what we want in our 30s versus what we want in our 40s. And it changes, so dramatically, even when you're with somebody in your 20s and y'all go a decade. And in your 30s, your wants and needs are so much more different than what they were in your 20s.
Yep. Thankfully.
Just your mind changes, your goals change.
Yes.
You want somebody that is going to transition with you along
with you. Yes.
And sometimes they don't make it in that transition with you because they're what they want and what you want, and this is where growing apart comes in. What they want and what you want no longer syncs up. And then you had that division, that divide right there.
Exactly.
So and that's what we talk about, not wasting time. Because you have to thoroughly vet the person that you want to be with for the rest of your life. You can't look at the things that they're doing now and believe that it's going to last forever. You can't look at, they're handsome now, they're beautiful now, and that's going to last forever. Or dare I say it, the sex is good now.
But that may not be a priority in 10 or it may not be great no more. Okay. I mean, things change, and that's reality. That is what a real relationship is.
It is.
And I think people want things to be the same, or some people think that they should stay the same throughout all these years. But that's just not possible. And it shouldn't be. I prefer to grow in a relationship. I prefer to be around someone that is going to almost require me or encourage me to grow, and vice versa. And I think that when, as you said, like, you shift from your 20s, your 30s, and your 40s and onward. And like by the time you hit your age, I had to throw that in there. My bad.
That engine to that engine over that hill right there.
By the time you hit that age, you're just like, I know who I am.
Right.
I know what I need, what I want, and what I'm not going to tolerate.
There you go.
You should be at that point.
Should be. But,
Yes.
as I've always heard and been told, common sense ain't always that common. And
listen,
some people can't differentiate their needs versus their wants. So everybody looking at what I want. This is what I want out of a relationship. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But have you sat down and tried to figure out what do you need out of a relationship? Because what you need and what you want is two very distinct things, because your needs is always going to trump your wants.
Yes. And wants are frivolous. They typically.
Temporary.
Yes. But needs are going to provide you with real satisfaction.
Exactly. Needs are going to dig a lot more deeper into the root of who you are, what you are. And it's going to resolve the issues that
come through with a word. Okay, come on.
They're going to resolve the issues that you can't necessarily resolve yourself
on your own. Yes, that's why I'm so adamant about investing in good relationships, because good relationships, business relationships, colleagues, partner, all of it is going to really require you to step up and step out and get into your comfort zone, or out of your comfort zone, and heal things that you've been trying to hide from for a long time.
I'm glad you said it. And I want to say this to all the Farewell fans and everybody watching. If the person you're with is not willing to push you outside your comfort zone to help you grow, you may want to reconsider, unless both y'all are just comfortable. But if you're looking to grow and you're looking to build an empire, and you're looking to build wealth, and you're looking to be in a better position that you're currently not in, if you don't have a person pushing you outside your comfort zone to do more, you may want to reconsider the relationship that you're in. Because I know that I push my friends outside their comfort zone to make them better. They push me outside my comfort zone to make myself better. And if I don't have a counterpart that is willing to do that, regardless of what we're seeing in front of us, you got to see the vision.
Yes.
You have to see the vision.
And you have to see the vision when I don't see it sometimes.
There you go.
Sometimes I may not see it for myself, but you got to see it for me and be like, listen, babe, get up, get out, and do something. Okay. And vice versa.
Tamika, you was coming through today. I didn't even get asked questions yet, and you're coming through.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, please, like, I think, and it may shift at any given time. Like, I may not see it now and he sees it, and he may not see it in 10 years and I see it. But you have to have I always tell people in a partnership, somebody always has to be the smarter one at any given time, because one person may be willing to make a dumb mistake and somebody has to say, nope, we're not doing that. We're not going to do that because of X, Y, and Z.
Exactly. You are hitting the nail right on the head. So let me go ahead and get into my first question.
Get into your questions.
Because we on the road today. Okay. All right. So statistically, 14% of people are truly happy. Okay.
Yes.
What defines a person as truly happy?
Great question. I think, first of all, that study was done by University of Chicago, where only 14% of Americans reported being truly happy. That is, when I heard it, I was like, is that surprising? Not really, because I see people all the time, they act like they're happy. Mm-hmm. But acting and being are two different things.
That is true.
When you are something, and please keep in mind, happiness is not going to be an ongoing state of being forever. There's balances, there's ups and downs, there's things that occur. And if you don't have the opposite, you're not going to understand how to really recognize when you're happy. But I think true happiness is defined by how you identify with where you are at any given time. It's like you're present You're present in a state of just being comfortable, being satisfied. There's the virtues of happiness, which is you have to understand what you enjoy, which typically what you enjoy doesn't always have to be super external.
Right.
It's also what satisfies you, what brings you pleasure. Like those are the things that you can recognize and be like, okay, I feel good. And also, although happiness is not a feeling, it feels like you can recognize happiness by how you feel on a day-to-day basis. But it's an ongoing journey. It's not going to be, I just listened to something and it was saying that it was actually a Harvard professor, and he said that as humans, we're always going to be on a journey to more happierness. We can never forever sustain happiness, but we will always be on a journey to continue to be happier. So it's just recognizing that you are in this consistent state, or this not even consistent, but this very solid state of satisfaction. You're not always constantly wanting something else. You recognize that you have all of your needs. Like we always talk about people that don't have much being happy, like they're dancing around and like enjoying their life because they have all of their needs.
Right.
They don't have to worry about their wants. Their wants are counterpart to their needs being satisfied. So I think similar to the conversation we just had, it's all about recognizing that when you have what you need, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I can see that. But I think that, and along with that, I think everybody's level of satisfaction is different.
Sure.
Because, some people have or live a more simpler life. So if you think those that live their life as minimalists. So
exactly.
Their minimum is satisfactory to them. They don't have the clutter. They don't have, all of the other expenses as everybody else. They just want the bare minimum, and that's fine. They don't need anything else, and that is satisfactory to them. And in that sense, it probably makes them truly happy. And even in relationships, you got to figure out, what is the bare essentials that you need to be satisfied in a relationship if you don't have everything else in your life.
Yep.
If the person that you're dating doesn't have the income that you're looking for, but they provide the emotional support, they provide the mental stimulation, they provide the affection that you're looking for, but they don't have the required income that you may be looking for in order to live the lifestyle that you want to live, but they meet all the other boxes outside of income.
Yes, and you're right. I think you have to figure out what works for you. It doesn't have to work for anybody else. Like what is happy for me or defines me being happy may not be the definition for you. And that's great because that's you and I'm me. Okay. And if you are, as you said, in a relationship, it's not about recognizing what's wrong. It's about recognizing what's right.
That's true.
We're always consistently looking for the better or the more, when we should just be appreciative of the now and what we currently have. And that is how you get into a state of happiness. If you're always trying to anticipate the next thing, or think about, well, this person doesn't have the 5 things, or they have 5 out of the 6 things, but I still got to go look for the 6th thing, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's true. It's the idea, and I know this is cliche, but when they say the grass is not always greener on the other side,
yes,
but there's always somebody that's browsing around in another pasture trying to find better.
Not browsing around.
I mean, if you look at 50 years ago, they would walk over to the pasture, but now since it's online, they browsing.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. They are straight up browsing. Okay.
Browsing is just easier. It's like, okay, well, I got this here, but I can secretly start this dating profile, and nobody's gonna know but me.
Oh, well, I think that's the thing too. There's so much now that's causing distraction that we think that there's something else outside of what's currently happening in our lives that's going to make us happy.
To me, I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel the same way. I'm always thinking like, hey, is it something out there that's better? You know,
See?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna front.
Well, good.
I'm not gonna lie about it. Like I've had relationships where I was satisfied and I was cool. I didn't have to look anywhere, and I know that feeling. But then you're in something and you're just like, yeah, I've had better. I know that there's something that's better than what I got.
Listen, I feel like if you're in a relationship and you have that inkling, that is not the right relationship. Sorry.
Like, dang.
Like,
I'm not gonna lie.
If you're in it and you're like, oh man, I mean, there's been times I've been around friends or when I was dating, and I was like, why am I here? Like, what am I doing with you? Like, so if you have to question that, if you're questioning it, I say it's not. It's one thing to be like, that to me is like your soul speaking to you. Like, red flag on the play. This one ain't it, you know? But
and even with that, I think that's how a lot of people get trapped in relationships that they don't want to be in.
Yes.
And they tend to go further because they're like, well, I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. It's either one or two things. One, you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Two, you don't want to be alone. And those two things keep you trapped in relationships that you don't want to be in, to the point where you end up, vacating the relationship as best as you can.
Yes.
But
you exit stage left one way or another.
Yeah, you're going to exit stage left one way or another. And somebody, at the end of the day, people got to know how to put themselves first when they realize they're in the wrong relationship.
Yes.
You can't worry about what that person is going through or what that person is doing. You got to know that you have to be happy. And if you're not happy, but the other person is happy, it's not going to make for a great relationship, because you're going to consistently keep trying to avoid conversations, whether they're good or bad.
Well, and who wants to be unhappy at the risk for someone else? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, I don't want to be unhappy while someone else is out here just living their best life with me happy, and I'm the one unhappy. Who want to live that life?
Almost every other nice guy that's probably out there looking like, I don't really want to hurt nobody's feelings. I just want to be very considerate and helpful and so all the nice guys out there.
I feel like those are the people that want to get more validation for their kindness.
That could be true.
And they're not necessarily happy, but they're just like, if I can continue to get someone to approve of how I'm behaving and showing up, then that's good. But the minute that someone disapproves, then what?
Then there's denial and grief. And anger, anxiety.
Exactly.
Other stages of grief that comes along with that.
Yes. I think it's just more about knowing what you want, need, because your wants should be satisfied, because wants are part of your pleasure, right? So there's a balance. But the satisfaction piece is knowing that you are being what you're experiencing in your relationship, you're enjoying. You have to enjoy your relationship.
That is true. And if you're not enjoying your relationship, then there's something to be said about what's really going on.
Yes.
Okay.
1,000%.
I am feeling it. I'm feeling that. All right. So time is relevant and consistent. It's one of the two things in life that is consistent. The two things in life that is consistent is time and change. The two things are inevitable. You can't defeat.
Okay, I feel like that needed to have like a soundtrack in the background.
Somebody mix me down a beat.
Just
I mean, it's so true. People try to turn back time and defeat time over and over again.
You can't.
People try to defy change over and over again, and you can't. So in that essence, how does quality relationships relate to time spent?
Yeah, well, you got to think about what you're willing. First of all, you have to understand the value of time.
Okay.
And you have to look at the perspective of, my time is valuable, because the reality is, on average, most of us will only have about, I just read this somewhere too, anywhere from 80 to 100 summers. That ain't nothing. Like, if you really think about that, like, we've spent, like, I'm not over the hill just yet. No, I'm kidding.
The shots.
I had to. I can't help it. You started it. You opened it up.
Hey, I'm gonna get on my wheelbarrow and I'm rolling. I don't know what y'all talking about. So I'm rolling that
Not the wheelbarrow. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm getting ready to be 40. So realistically, I've spent a substantial amount of my time on the earth already.
Right.
And the rest of my time spent, I'm not spending it with anyone or doing anything that I don't want to do or that's not enjoyable or helping me to evolve. And good quality relationships are going to enhance your well-being. They're going to help increase your income, and they're going to help you increase your happiness. So why would you want to spend any time doing anything else other than spending it with quality relationships?
I agree. And that goes along with networking, that goes along with
Yes.
friendships, that goes along
Yes.
with even, your relationships with your kids.
Yes.
And when we're talking about time, I was just doing a show with talking about a Reddit post where a guy was spending majority of his time working and not really spending time with his kid and not cultivating that relationship. And I've been there. I've been there where I worked 2 jobs. I went to school trying to provide a better future. I made it to major events, but what about the small things? What about the weekend trips? What about just going to a little kid play place so he can play around with other kids, but also, play with you there, going to the park, push him on the swing and everything. Missing out on just those inklings of time.
Yeah.
Because you spending so much time trying to focus on building the future.
Right.
That you're forgetting about what you're doing in the present. And then when that present becomes the past, then you're like, well, where did time go? And why didn't I invest more time trying to be with those that I love instead of spending all 16 hours a day at another job doing absolutely, whether you're doing something or doing nothing, you might as well just say that you're doing nothing because you're not gaining any value outside of money, and money fluctuates. So where one year it has value, the next it doesn't.
Yep. And time and relationships have more value. And we always bank on having more time. But the truth is we don't know how much time we're going to have.
We don't.
So it's really important for us to spend the quality time with, as you said, those that we love, doing the things that we want and enjoy doing. Especially nowadays, it's like so many things are going on, and it's like, I'm more sensitive to the people that I'm around now. I'm more sensitive to the choices that I make, the people that I want to spend my time with, the places that I go. Because honestly, I would rather spend my time on the couch chilling with my loved ones than going and doing whatever just to say I have a social media post about it.
Right.
Like we're in this space where we're spending so much time browsing.
Yeah, browsing. Definitely browsing.
Right, definitely browsing. We're spending so much time browsing and we're forgetting what matters the most, which is our people, our loved ones, making more loved or having more loved ones, creating new memories, because that's what's going to last a lifetime. And listen, I've heard of people on their deathbed and that's what they think about. It's like flashbacks of their life. They don't have flashbacks of how much money is in their pocket or in their bank account. They have flashbacks about who they spent their time with and how much they wish they could have more time to do more of the things. So, to each their own.
And I want to say something that's a little saddening. So, if you need some tissue, feel free to go ahead and get some. So, my grandma passed in 2016. Okay. So for all the Pharaoh fans, my grandma was my best friend. And, her death was, into my eyes, invalid, meaning it shouldn't happen. I didn't see the expiration date on her when I turned her over. So, it wasn't there. And, it was a very sad moment. It was a very sad moment for me and my family. And the reason why I bring this story up is because I wish I would have spent more time with my grandmother. And we were spending plenty of time together during the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me a wealth of knowledge during that time.
Mm.
The thing is that had I known that she was going to expire, my one regret is the more time I could have spent with her, even though I feel like I had enough time, I wish I had more time to spend with her because she was gone in an instance. It wasn't planned that she was going to leave. No, she defeated breast cancer. She defeated that, and the reason she left, I'm not going to state, but the reason she left was trivial to me, but nobody in the family expected it to happen. And when it happened, it hit us like a ton of bricks. So you never know when your day is going to end or when the person that means the most to you day is going to end. So if you have people in your life that you cherish and you value, time is always going to keep moving. Yes. You can't get the experiences and the quality time that with these people once they're gone. When the clock stops, there's nothing else for you to do but to go to their grave site and have a one-sided conversation.
Yep, that's it.
That is the literal reality of it. It is I have visited my grandma's grave site time and time again, shed tears time and time again for a one-sided conversation. She can't see one of the things, and this is why it's so heartbreaking, because one of the things that me and my grandma always talked about is her seeing me walk down the aisle to get married. That was one of her life missions, to see me.
She was waiting.
She didn't talk about nobody else get married. Nobody else. She didn't care about nobody else getting married. It was only me. I want to see you get married. That's all. That's all the conversation was until she passed. When you gonna get married? I want to see you walk down the aisle. And I'm just like, well, when the right one comes along, Grandma, we gonna make it happen. But until the end,
she was like, "Can you come on? Come on."
She was rushing me. It's almost like she knew what was gonna happen. Like, I'm rushing you.
I mean, she probably was like, somebody waiting for you, but you out here acting up, browsing.
Trying to see what the other pictures looking like. I'm telling you.
I appreciate the fact that your grandmother was your best friend.
She was definitely my best
I love that. And sharing that is deep and it's real. And it's a reminder for everyone to think about those that you love and to spend more time with them. I mean, I'm on a mission. I lost my dad unexpectedly when I was 13 years old. He died from a brain aneurysm in his sleep. So like there was no time, no thought that it was going to happen, no future, no goal. Like it was it. That was it. And, that leaves you with a whole bunch of unanswered questions, especially as a young person.
Yeah.
A whole lot of emotions that you wanted to express, a whole lot of memories that you wanted to create with that person or hope to.
Yeah.
And those things are gone. And now one of my biggest missions is for people not to say, I wish I had more time to spend with this person. We should all be in a predicament where we say, I know that person loved me. I know I spent enough time with them. And we were good, period. But we're doing so many other things that we're not positioning ourselves in being present in what matters the most.
Right.
And that is, once again, why relationships are so important to me. So I appreciate you sharing that story. And I think that there's so many more of us that have that story. And we just have to remember, what do we do about it?
Right.
How do we change that? How do we change that narrative of not having enough time or not valuing our time or our experiences with our loved ones enough? And not to say that you didn't, but it's just, I want to make sure that we all just are present in the moment. We're not scrolling while we're around our family and our loved ones.
Yeah.
We are, I just saw something on social media like this. These are the 7 questions that you should ask your kids, just about life, to get a deeper understanding of who they are. And then me, my mom, and my husband sat and we talked about those questions, have those moments with the people that you love, So yeah, we got deep. Okay.
Now I do want to jump back really quick. And we were talking about these 80 summers. Now, I'm not gonna skip over the idea that we got really deep. You know, I almost had to go get some tissue. I had to pause for a minute and go get some tissue.
Listen,
but I held it in. You know, because
good job.
Because clearly they, that's what men gotta do. We gotta hold it in. We gotta get past those stereotypes, though. So
please.
I ain't gonna be Tyrese today. I ain't gonna be like Tyrese.
Oh no, Lord, no.
I ain't gonna cry today.
Please.
When we talk about these 80 summers, okay, let's put it into perspective for everybody. When you talk about 80 summers, you gotta think about, you spend about 18 of those summers, in pretty much in your parents' captivity. Okay,
facts.
You can't really do what you want to do. I mean, you can, but you got restrictions and limitations. Right?
Yes.
So then for the next 40, 50 years, you spend those summers working, you may travel a little bit, and then you spend the next few years retire in your old age, sitting on a porch, probably, yelling at the kids running down the street on your grass. You got your cane, you got your walker.
The visual.
You can't drive. Your grandkids don't want to be bothered with you. Your own kids probably don't want to be bothered with you.
What is wrong with you?
So you run into all these issues, but you only got 80 summers to do it. So let's break it down. You had 20 summers of youth. You got another 20 summers to kind of figure your life out. You got another 20 summers to get to the income level that you want to get to actually retire. Then you got another 20 years of blissful retirement and trying to figure out what you're going to do in retirement. And nowadays you're working to retirement. Now, those aren't accurate numbers per se, because you're probably going to end up working longer, but it's just definitely a rough estimate of how life passes you by.
Yes.
Because you got 20 years you got 20 years of growing, 20 years of figuring out what you want to do, 20 years of being at the top, and another 20 years of going down.
And don't you did not talk. Where is the soundtrack of going down? Okay, no, but for real.
But for real, like
that was a real synopsis of the truth and it's a reality check. It's for me, for us. I mean, I'm just saying, because I remember my 20 years of, you didn't even know that life was short when you were in your first 20.
No,
okay,
you didn't.
Then the second 20, you just so confused and frustrated and feeling misunderstood. Then the next 20, which I feel like at least I'm in, I don't know what you in. You're in, as you said, you're in the phase of you're working hard to get to the top, right?
Yeah.
Which is a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Time spent. And then after this, you're like, okay, then I'm going to get to the point where I'm good. And then I'm going to spend the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we need to rewind, do that now.
Exactly.
Because we're once again banking on the hope and the dream that we're going to make enough to retire at however old, 63-ish, little give or take. And then still be mobile enough to enjoy life after that.
Right. But it doesn't work out that way.
For everyone, no.
It doesn't. Some people, they feel immobility, by the time they hit 60. They can barely bend their knees. I mean, they can barely bend their knees. They can't, because they don't stretch. They don't do any athletic work. So, you start having these body problems. I mean, it just works.
It's true, but how you said it, they can't bend their knees.
They can't bend their knees.
They ain't dropping it like it's hot no more. Okay,
they gonna crack a hip if they try to drop it like it's hot. Are you gonna hear it crack?
When juvenile come on, they ain't ready. Okay,
they gonna be like, oh baby, I remember that when I was younger. Girl,
I used to be trying to express their memories. I remember when I used to get on the dance floor and get it. Okay, grandma.
To them dentures. I'm telling you, these millennials about to be something when they start talking about their
they ain't ready. Okay,
now,
they are not ready.
Seen it all. You ain't seen nothing yet. Just
you are cracking me up. I'm sorry. If ain't nobody else laughing, I am. Okay.
All right. So, what are steps to unlocking happiness. Are people living in a state of superficial happiness?
Yes, yes. People, you tell me, like, look around. Most people are. How many influencers have you seen online that post about them getting a new car? Is that happiness? No, that's shallow to me.
Okay.
Okay. That's not that's not creating, listen, to each their own. Do you? I hope you're living your best life. No hate, but I would prefer to see people that are not on social media. Like the people that are not on social media all the time are the ones that I would imagine are living out their lives.
Right. Well,
Like they're actually enjoying life.
is I I will
Come on with it.
I would agree, but I also have a different. I'm not gonna say I disagree, but
Yeah, I hear you.
have a different take on it. Okay, so I will say that people that are not on social media are either living their best life or technologically inclined. So they don't know how to use technology that well.
Yes.
They still used to them
I do
pictures
not be ready.
from the 1800s where you had to put your head under and you had to rotate it just to take that nice black and white
Oh
picture.
my gosh.
So, but those that are on social media, I believe that depend on what they're doing. If they are like a travel blogger and they're traveling and say they started traveling, it was like, you know what, I want to document this, but
Yes, that's different.
I want to
Yes.
document it,
Yes.
but I don't want to, we're not doing photo albums anymore. You know, social media and the cloud is our photo album. So I'm going to post all these pictures of these beautiful places that I go to, and I'm going to post on social media for everybody to enjoy, but I'm not looking to reap any financial benefit.
Yes.
Okay. But
and then you get it.
And then you get it. You know, somehow, some way it just comes to you because it's something that
different.
you just love to do. And somebody said, well, you know what? We love this type of pictures that you take. It's beautiful. It's enjoyable. We'll pay you to go to these extravagant places and take these pictures. You know,
well, I think that's people that are comfortable with self. They recognize what provides them with enjoyment,
right,
satisfaction, and pleasure. And they're doing it naturally, and then the universe awards them for that.
True. I agree with that.
Which is great, which is how we all should be.
Right.
Instead of trying to create a narrative that is untrue, that is not happiness.
And that's why so many people come out with the mental health statements, and I need to take a break from social media because it's mentally draining me, and I'm having, I'm seeking help because you're living a falsified life. You're trying to keep up an appearance that doesn't reside right with you. Let's just think about it. Your spirit, your mind, and your body all have to be in sync. And when it's not in sync, the only thing you can really think about is, how can I get this many likes? How can I make sure that, I'm getting this satisfaction and gratification from posting these pictures, but not realizing that the more superficial you are, the more shallow you are, the worse off you're going to be later on.
Yes.
Because it's kind of like, and I've never done this before, but it's kind of like hitting your first blunt. So you get that first high, right? And then, and this is from people that I talk to, you're continuously always trying to chase that first high that you've been trying to get. So it's the same thing with social media. You get that first hit of the adrenaline rush, you get 1,000 likes. And now you're like, okay, well, what does it feel like if I get 2,000 likes? What if it feel like if I get 5,000 likes? So you get all these likes. And then what? 10,000. Then it's like, okay, well, I always get all these likes.
Right.
There's nothing.
And now what? Now what do we do? Now what's the point? Right. To get more and more and more and more and more? Because more recognition?
Because the endorphins is not there anymore. You're no longer getting that satisfaction from getting all these likes. It's the same thing with like Facebook. Like, I'm not really a big Facebook person. Do I have a Facebook page? Yeah, we have one. But I'm not a big Facebook person. And the reason why is because I feel like, Facebook is a toxic place. And a lot of people post things on Facebook to make their life look good. Yes. But it's 100% not really good. Nobody can be a really 100% themselves on social media because they fear backlash.
That or Facebook or social media these days is to people post to gain sympathy.
I'm gonna tell you about a test I did. I did the test. Now,
Please.
I like psychology, and
Mm-hmm.
psychology really intrigues me in so many ways based on people's behavior.
Yes.
So I've done this test several times. So the first test is that I will put a post out there, promoting something, talking positive to see people's reaction. Now,
It don't get nothing. It don't get a
it
lot.
gets you no traction. It gets you no reshares. It gets you, don't get you anything. You put something negative out there.
Yep.
Say, yes, I'm going through a hard time right now, or I'm in a hospital. You got people you ain't talked to in 20 years. You okay? You need something?
Yep.
You want to call me? No, I want to call you.
No.
I don't even know. I ain't seen you. I ain't even see the high school reunion. Why are you even on my page? Why we even on friends? I'm about to just start. Just about to just start like removing people. But you get people that want to be your savior.
Yep.
But
or want to act like they want to showcase that they are willing to be a savior.
Yes.
When the truth is that they just want attention for showcasing that they're willing to be a savior. They don't actually want to save you. They don't actually want to help you.
Not at all.
Real people that want to help do so behind the scenes.
Yes, they do. And they don't exploit it or put it out
exactly.
there.
Exactly.
The most fulfilling thing a person can do is help somebody out and never tell nobody.
Yes.
But the problem is that everybody want to show that, hey, look what I did. Show me love and likes because I did something for somebody else.
Yeah.
Show me the gratitude. Show me show me.
Like, give me the flowers.
Give me the flowers. That's the best. Give me the flowers. Give me the flowers.
People need that. So many people desperately need that. And like, if that is a priority for you, then that's shallow happiness. It's not sustainable.
It's not. It's not.
And I would prefer for everyone to have sustainable happiness.
I agree. And just to go back to one of the questions, what would you say are the steps to having, instead of happiness, fulfillment?
Yeah, I said knowing what you enjoy, and that should not be external. Like, you should be able to sit with self and be comfortable with self. That is true happiness. Like monks do that. They simmer with themselves and they're in this state of being just comfortably happy. So knowing what you enjoy, knowing what your pleasure is, and knowing what satisfies you, and understanding that it should not all be external.
Okay.
It should be like, you shouldn't have to rely on anyone else to give you happiness. So no likes should count. No, yes, those things like the added, when someone tells you they love you or they appreciate you, that's added. That's complimentary. It's not defining for your happiness. It should not be. You should be able to be satisfied with self and know what self needs to generate your own happiness and be able to do so alone. Like when before I started dating my now husband, I went on like this hiatus from like the internet and this was a while ago, but internet, cable, all of that. And the goal was for me to be kind of forced to just sit with self, because I had a terrible breakup and I was like, you know how women be like, I gotta cut my hair. No, I'm kidding. I gotta change my appearance. You gotta do something drastic to get over the past. But anywho, I did that, and like I had an opportunity to get to know me again. And when I did that, I was like, I'm pretty damn amazing. And I don't have to do all the extra stuff. I don't have to get dressed up. I don't have to go out. I don't have to do I can just sit with myself, read a book, write in my journal, listen to some music, and I'm good. That's it. Like, I'm totally fine. And I think that is key in recognizing what gives you that core satisfaction without anybody else.
I can tell you right now, I'm gonna go sit with myself later on today. I got
See,
some questions I need to ask, but about to get some real enlightenment.
yes. And that's when you get all of your messages and you're calm and you recognize what your next best move should be. When you simmer with self and you can hear yourself and hear your own thoughts versus external things and external judgment. And a lot of people don't know how to discern external from internal because they don't sit with themselves.
Mm. So y'all hear that, people? Y'all need to sit with yourselves.
Yeah, and sometimes it's uncomfortable at first. Like a lot of things come up that you may not necessarily, when you're constantly moving, you don't have to think about the truth of your thoughts, right?
Right.
But when you sit with self, you got to go through all of it, which is, you can't go around it. You got to go through it, y'all.
That is true. Yeah, I agree. Somebody had told me, I was talking to some family members, and one of the things they kept telling me about their relationships was that, and they all married. Like, I'm the only single one in the group.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all married. And one of the things that they said,
listen, where's the fans at? Can we get a partner up in here for my guy? Okay, thanks. Send me a DM and I'll hook y'all up.
So I'm gonna keep it moving, but we gonna keep it rolling. So they all told me that in their situations, how they found their wives was when they were fed up and they quit looking, and
Yep.
it found them.
Yep.
When they weren't looking.
Yep.
My problem is I'm always looking.
You be on the swivel. I already know.
And like, I'm the brother for the Himalayas. I be out there looking like this, like, where it at?
I cannot stand you. You need a meme, okay? I ain't fooling with you.
We go here having fun, y'all.
But it's true. If you stop, because you rarely get what you want if you don't surrender to the outside. Like if you're constantly trying to rush to get something, whether that's reaching your goals, getting a partner, a new friend, whatever, like if you're like constantly forcing it, it's not going to work because you're giving off that energy, by the way.
That's true.
That energy, and even if you do get attract someone or attract the career, it's not going to be solid because it's desperate energy. So no more head on the swivel. Just calm your nerves.
Just bring it back a little bit. Bring it back.
Go sit and simmer, and then calm your nerves.
I like to boil. I don't like to simmer. Okay.
Oh my God. Not boil. You look like you would like to boil.
All right, so this next question I believe is going to help not only me, but a whole bunch of other people as well.
Yes.
So what are some steps to become better with building lasting relationships or repairing damage and broken relationships?
Great question. I would say, listen, you got to be willing to invest time, energy, money, all of it into building quality relationships. And it takes some sacrifices and a lot of people aren't willing to sacrifice their wants and needs for someone else, but you need to be willing to do that. It's all about being vulnerable too, like breaking down your barriers and your walls and showing who you really are. Don't be out here on the 120-day rule like my guy over here. Okay. Like you gotta break down your walls. And of course the cliche thing is communication, but communication really is key. And when I say communication, I say like listen to understand and speak clearly to express your true feelings. Like don't try to shame someone else for quote unquote doing something wrong or whatever. Like you really want to make sure that you're being clear and you're giving your why too. I always tell people when you're expressing yourself and you're like, hey, I really didn't like when you did this, say why. So there's more context behind it. That's key to emotional maturity. I think when it comes to like broken relationships, you got to figure out if it's worth rebuilding it. Like I just had a friend that I was friends with for over 20 years, and it just wasn't worth me to spend the time and energy into trying to rebuild it when she wasn't willing to put in the time and energy. So if it's not a reciprocal relationship, then don't spend the time. But again, communication, putting forth the energy, and just really being accepting of the person for who they are. I think a lot of people want to change people, and like, you can't change anyone.
True.
And don't try. We ain't got time.
But, you know, we definitely don't have time. You know, I've been told by, you know, a few people that, dang, man, they always want to change me. You know, they want me to be this way. They want me to be that way.
See?
And like, you have to accept that person at face value.
Exactly.
If
like
face value isn't, if their face value isn't something that you're looking for, then you have to move on.
Yep. Goodbye. And I think that's another thing too, having boundaries. And boundaries is just knowing what you're willing to compromise on and what you're not willing to compromise on, and sticking to that. Not being stubborn, but sticking to it in a very clear and concise way. Because if you don't know who you are and what you need and what you want and what you require, how do you expect for someone to rise up to your requirements?
That is true. You are absolutely right. Well, Tamika, thank you for coming on to the show.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
We did. We had a great time.
You know, we had a good time. We had laughed. You my homegirl. You come to Detroit, man.
I know, like, listen, I done already told him, put a good restaurant on our list of things to do, because I'm coming.
Come on down. Look, hey, farewell fans. This is MNG. Thank you, Tamika, for coming on to the show. Hey, we gonna catch y'all on the next go around. Peace.
Thank you.